Thanks so much for joining us and welcome to Bumblebee's Technology Day. My name is Molly and I'm part of the design team here at Bumblebee. We have lots of great behind the scenes content to share with you today. We'll have some time at the end for Q&A hosted by Gali from HyperChange. You can send him your questions via chat on YouTube. And to kick us off, here's our founder and CEO, Sankarshan.
Hey, welcome to Bumblebee Livestream. We have a day of presentations planned. We have a lot of team members who are doing functionally deep work, covering each aspect of the technology. So we're excited to get this going. And also Gali, special guest Gali from HyperChange, who we love, early backer, believer of Bumblebee. He'll be joining us on Livestream, doing a Q&A session with us. So the docket for today is pretty full. And then feel free to tweet us questions on our, at Bumblebee Spaces account. If you want to also channel it directly to Gali, you can send it to Gali. And then you can also submit it on the chat. So love to get this conversation going. So the agenda for today, we're going to talk about our product. We've been working very hard on bringing a category-defining product to the market, right? Like this is something that did not exist in the world in a way that we're creating it. So building this platform has been a lot of very, very interesting challenges that we've been breaking through, and love to show off some of the sneak peeks behind the work. We'll also be announcing a lot of new features and new stuff that we'll be bringing to the market. Really excited about the future of what we're going to be shipping. So this is kind of like very sneak peek, early days of what's capable of Bumblebee. And you'll see Bumblebee product gets better over time, right? And that nothing's more apparent than what we're going to be showing with software, hardware, firmware, all aspects of the company. So we're going to go into these production modules, how things are looking. We're going to cover software, our brain behind Bumblebee, the electronics, codenamed Yoda. And then we're going to talk about the backbone, the hardware system. And at the core of it all is our design. Everything we do it for an amazing experience for the user. So excited to kick this off, and let's jump right into it. Thanks for tuning in. This is the problem we're trying to solve, right? So we are basically, you take 1 foot by 1 foot by no thickness, by 0 feet, 1 feet by 1 feet. It costs you today around $2,000 or more, depending on the zip code, in San Francisco, in New York City, in Chicago, in all productive cities have a brewing housing crisis, right? And it's all because we're paying for a square foot. We're paying for this two-dimensional metric, and this comes directly at the cost of kind of the opportunity cost of what that space was used for. So if you think about it, this is coming, it's a finite resource. You're taking the surface area of the planet, and you're only limited by how much you can spread out. And yes, we've been able to build dense cities, but every time we get into efficiency, there's a loss of quality. And this is the problem of our generation. Housing's becoming unaffordable, extremely costly, extremely inefficient, and extremely unsustainable for the atmosphere, for the planet, right? It's adding a ton of carbon into the atmosphere every time we spread out all the infrastructure required to build it. And the scale of this problem, it's not just dense cities. This is not a San Francisco problem. This is not a New York City problem. This is a global problem. And we're adding 1 New York City a month for the next 40 years. Let me repeat that. 1 New York City of housing for the next 40 years. It's a massive scale of the problem. and the amount of concrete, the infrastructure, the sewer lines, the water, the electricity, the roads, all this that needs to go to build a city is unimaginable. So this is what we're trying to solve. This is what makes us get up in the morning and solve this problem. And you think you solve, like, you're spending so much on these per square foot. You would think we're pretty efficient, at least reasonably efficient. Turns out we're terrible at how we use the space. And it's because the alternatives of efficiency today are really bad experience, right? So today you look at, you need a bedroom. That room is named after that furniture. You're basically parking that furniture the whole time and not using that room the rest of 16 hours a day. And you're paying for all the embodied carbon, heating, cooling, everything. Same with living rooms. And you look at your home like it's full of these offenders. There's closets, there's dining table, there is office. And of course you need all these functions, and you need a really good, high quality of these functions. But when you don't need it, you need 0% of it. And everything today sits on the floor. Everything is parked on this is how we're optimizing homes, right? We look at a plan called a floor plan, really bad plan, by the way. We just look at everything in floor, 2-dimension, and we're not optimizing it very well. We kind of flip this around. This is the secret of Bumblebee. The conspiracy is we take power tools, we take furniture, and we flip the problem upside down, basically creating functions when you need it. And when you don't need it, it completely disappears, giving you a fully spacious, fully transformable, fully useful space. So you look at this, this is a 3D view of our showroom unit, which basically has a kitchen, a living room, a bedroom, a workstation, a closet, everything embedded inside. And the footprint, you lose no amount of kind of quality of living. And that's Bumblebee. And you unwrap this, it's like adding space. It's like adding square footage, but we don't think of, thinking about the world in square footage, it will be obsolete. It's paradigm shifting, right? So we take this 3D and kind of overlap it, you unwrap it, and you'll see that you're getting 50% more space or more, depending on the type of products that we install. So this is kind of the way Bumblebee, we don't ship motorized Murphy beds. We don't ship you shit furniture, right? It's a really high quality, excuse my language, but it's a really high quality function first and happens to be beautifully efficient. We don't do at the cost of efficiency, we don't make you lose your quality of living. That's what's exciting about Bumblebee, because you're not giving up anything. In fact, you're adding to the way you'll be living. So, it's a new way to live, but it's a better way to live. It's more exciting. And we're going to go through all of these, the design aspects of each one of the product, the platform, everything behind it. We're super stoked to have amazing partners, right? And we work with, the Smile, designed by Bjarke Ingels, which, the developers, Dave Blumenfeld and team. It's such a beautiful building, looks like it's kind of curved and falling back, and we have several people living in there, excited to live in Bumblebee. Or you look at Griffon, where we'll be doing every home in there will be a Bumblebee home. Every condo there will be a Bumblebee condo. And several amazing architectures all over San Francisco, New York, all great cities in US and Canada. And these experiences too, they vary based on the type of, we're not a studio-only furniture. We're not a guest room-only type of furniture. Because of the modularity of the product, the way we've designed it, it goes into any home, into any type of floor plan. And that's what we're going to go through, how the integration occurs. This is like really the kind of the key breakthrough, because no two people, like you don't, we realize that you don't just live the same way. Everyone has an artistic way you set up the home, your expression, and we make our system kind of sits into that, like it fits into your life. It fits the the way you want to furnish your room, you want to express yourself, you want to hang stuff on the wall. So we free up your floor, your wall for expression, and we move all your functions to the ceiling. So, like I said, design's at the core of everything. I'd love to welcome our lead design, industrial design, Mike Rito. He's going to kind of cover aspects of like our production hardware, how things are coming together, and we'll jump right into the engineering right behind that. Mike, take it away.
Hi everyone, my name is Mike and I'm on the design team at Bumblebee. And today I'm going to go over some of the latest updates to the design of our system and how we see the future of Bumblebee in space. So our latest generation really represents a fundamental refinement of the system. We've evolved nearly all aspects to improve the efficiency of Bumblebee. And so we were able to increase the capacity significantly without increasing the overall height of the system. And this allows for much more space for bedding and also much more space for storage. Another thing we've been able to do is integrate hardware fully into the panels. And this allows Bumblebee to fall entirely into the background, so your items are able to really take focus. And with our redesign, it's important to make things super seamless so that Bumblebee becomes part of the space. And so storage is not the main focus, but it's really the full system coming together. And so switching to the bed, we can look at some of the advancements there. And so with the bed, we've taken the same overall approach at making things more efficient. And with the bed, we have 4 feet that expand when the bed is lowered. And each of the feet are made from an anodized aluminum that pair with the wood and blend into the surroundings. So when the bed is lowered to the ground, the feet supported at a comfortable height that makes it easy to get in and out of the bed. And with the bed, we also have integrated lighting, and this creates a soft glow that can be used as a night light or a reading light. And beyond the system, when it's in a static mode, when it's moving, it's also really important for us to make things very quiet and seamless so that your space transforms naturally from one state to the other. And here you can see the bed in its closed state. Everything is tightly packed in one package. Switching to storage, as I mentioned before, we've been able to increase the capacity, and this allows you to store more things than before. And inside each box, we have modular organizers that allow you to make Bumblebee your own. So we've done a full redesign also on how the straps interface with the boxes to remove any hardware that sticks out. This prevents things from getting caught on the hardware when you're taking things in and out of the boxes. With our app, any box can be locked with a passcode or Face ID. And we have integrated lighting that allows you to see things at night. Another feature that we're super excited about is search. With search, you can go right from your phone and you can search for an item and pull it up just like you would with Google, and it's brought to you instantly. So storage is really the foundation for many functions of the system, and we're really excited on where we can go from here. So here you can see a few examples of how the storage boxes can adapt to different things just by changing around the organizers. You can keep things like a notebook and make it more of like an office storage box, or you can have your gym things in there or toys. So beyond storage, the units are very flexible. With just a little modification, we're able to take the box and transform it into many other functions. So here you can see, we call it our ceiling desk. It can be used as a temporary workspace to work from home. And so lifting the bed out of the space, it opens up a really large area that can be used for a dual purpose. And this is why we created our workstation. So the workstation sits at the head of the bed, and it creates a home office to work from home during the day. And with this drawer, you can open it up and have 2 levels to keep your things and work from home. And beyond the bedroom and living room, Bumblebee really expands throughout the home. So here you can see, just by changing some of the organizers, how the box could be customized to also work in the kitchen. And increasing the height of the box, we can store larger items, such as a jacket or even hanging shirts. And then some other functions that we're exploring are adding a room divider. So just by adding another unit to the box, we can add a room divider to divide the space in 2. And all of this can be controlled right from the app. Here's also an example of a projection screen. So you could just in one touch transform your entire space into a home theater. And so thanks everyone. I'm going to hand it back to the team in San Francisco.
Thank you, Mike. Yeah, there's been a lot of like design elements, and this is just a very small teaser into the things that we are building on the same platform. Building like the wall divider, one of my favorites. It's like we'll be pushing out some of these hardware updates and like bringing in, today we're in Bumblebee bedroom, Bumblebee office. Very soon we'll be taking over Bumblebee kitchen and like living room dividers, home theaters. Like this is how people will live. Cool. So next up, we're gonna like get into kind of the engineering bits and pieces. We're starting off with the brain of Bumblebee, which we've codenamed Project Yoda, which is we built our ground up compute platform. And to talk about it, here's Dr. Aaron Licata.
Thanks, Sankarshan. Hello, everyone. My name is Aaron. I'm the tech lead in the perception and AI team at Bumblebee. And today I will be talking about the perception stack here at Bumblebee. The Bumblebee team has developed this computing platform that really, it's built around the 3 pillars: safety, modularity, and awareness. So the software and hardware and electronic architecture is such that allows for a high level of modularity and easy to add or remove a node from the computing platform. This is possible thanks to the distributed architecture, where each of the units has its own motherboard, which in turn it's effectively a full-fledged self-sufficient computing node that it's plugged into a canvas, and in a very scalable and robust way, it allows to communicate to other nodes, whether they are computing nodes or sensing nodes. So one of the central aspects of the Bumblebee design is certainly human safety. And for that to happen, we built a sensing system that is aware of the space around it, so that is able to detect when someone is under the unit, what piece of furniture is nearby the unit, and it lowers the units only when the area is clear and safe. Today, we converge to an optimal system that is built around LiDAR sensing, that it's hidden away, unintrusive in your home, and also designed with privacy in mind, where all the computing, the depth estimation, the distance estimations, they're all computed locally on the edge, and no data is shared in the cloud. Also, the system has really reached a strong level of robustness, 2-centimeter accuracy, that opened up the ability to, for example, sensing the legs of an infant or the fine structure of furniture such as the legs of a chair. And also we've improved in our ability to pre-calibrate the sensors so that we can install them in the field very, very easily and fast. So how do we get there? How do we get to this system that is able to sense regions of space in a very robust and accurate way? Well, our system went through many iterations where as we discovered many different edge cases out there in the world throughout the deployments that we did. And we've experimented and evolved the system through stereo vision, time-of-flight cameras, as well as LiDAR sensing. And that allowed us to overcome false positives due to strong lighting conditions, reflections, or false negatives that are maybe due to some sensing technology inability to sense dark fabric materials. And more in general, we really got to the point that the system is now robust to a large variety of materials, like plastic, glass, metal, and even wood. Another technology that Bumblebee has developed, computer vision-based technology, it's really there to protect the product itself, so it's product safety. And that allows us to make our units aware of their own motion, such that if there's way too much, or there is a danger of collision with the nearby furniture or units, the boxes slow down themselves in a very intelligent way. So our team has developed over time very robust computer vision algorithms that they track pixel level motion within the live video stream of each camera that is built in each Motorbox module, looking down the box and being able to convert all that low-level tracking information into the overall centimeter accurate motion tracking of the box, such that the system can understand the different level of motions and degree of motions that the box is currently experiencing, and therefore tailoring the experience. Another technology that the team has been working on are neural networks that are able to detect objects within the physical box and classify them in a robust way, such that it can cope with different lighting conditions, different boxes, and so on and so forth. And again, how do we achieve that? One of the challenges that we've encountered was the need to train these neural networks with a large number of data, a large number of images of all the objects that we want the network to recognize. And coming up and acquiring this data and labeling this data, it's quite a challenge. And so our team has designed a methodology where we start off with 3D models of the objects and then render them and create synthetic images under a great variety of conditions like different shapes, color, texture, sizes, and so on and so forth. And that allows us to create these models that are pretty robust to recognizing a small number of classes. And as we need more classes to be recognized, we train with the synthetic data even more models, and then eventually merge them into a larger neural network. And with that, now I'm going to hand it over to Cameron, which he's going to be talking about the kind of software features that can be built on top of this technology.
Thanks very much, Aaron. My name is Cameron. I'm a software engineer here at Bumblebee, and I lead the development of our app and voice interactions. So we are constantly shipping over-the-air updates to all of our live units. So when you interact with Bumblebee, you're constantly being delighted with new features. And today I want to show you guys a bit more of some of the features that we're really excited about, starting off with search. So search is an application of our object detection technology that Aaron described. It allows you to search for your belongings using simple commands like, "Where is my watch?" or "Get my sunglasses." And yes. And these commands, they're not static commands, they're fully dynamic. So you can say, "Lower my X," and the object that you specify will be recognized by our technology. So it functions as kind of an AI butler. You can also go into the Bumblebee app and search for things with a traditional search bar, like Mike mentioned, which functions as Google for your belongings. We think of this as a completely different way to think about accessing your belongings that reduces the cognitive overhead of remembering where every little thing is, so that rather than having your stuff kind of clutter your mind, we want to free you from your stuff with this feature. So next I want to talk a bit about voice with Bumblebee. Voice commands are one of the focal points of user interaction with Bumblebee. And voice is already live in all of our production units, and it's a favorite of our users for its hands-free ease of use and simplicity. So our current generation product includes commands to control your lights and to lower and raise storage boxes and your bed. And we're very excited to combine voice commands with our search feature, like I mentioned, and we'll be rolling that into production very, very soon. So as we continue to make our AI models and object detection models more and more robust and able to detect more objects, we will continue to consistently roll out updates to these features over the air that will constantly improve the user experience. Voice commands fulfill the promise of an ambient computer, so they allow interaction with this intelligent system without a keyboard or a mouse or a touch interface. So another awesome feature that I'm really excited to introduce is called time travel. This feature allows you to slide through a history of your belongings in the storage in your Bumblebee system. So if you're missing something, you can see exactly when it was put in and taken out of storage. Combining this with our object detection technology, this gives users the ability to see how they use their belongings and how that use evolves over time, and to understand how they use their things. So you can see what's in constant use, so things that really bring you joy and a lot of use, and then you can see things that you don't even use at all and are just taking up space. This is just the tip of the iceberg, we think, with this technology, and we're just beginning to explore all of its applications. So another user interface for the system that we're thrilled to introduce today is called Bumblebee Control. This is a wall-mounted touch panel that seamlessly blends into the wall and its surroundings. So this interface is all about simplicity and reducing cognitive overhead for the user by providing a dedicated touch control that doesn't require you to pull out your phone. So whether you're waking up in the middle of the night and just want to turn the lights on, or you're just getting home from work and want to quickly grab something from the ceiling, there are many cases where Bumblebee Control is the most convenient way to interact with the system. The interface is simple, functional, and intelligent. It mirrors the state of the Bumblebee system in real time.
Yeah, all right.
It's also ideal for having guests use the system. There's no need to have them download and pair an app to get their bed down. Bumblebee owners can also restrict access to parts of their system for guests that use the Bumblebee wall panel control. So we're able to ship all these really cool features because we have this amazing hardware platform to build off of. And with that, I'd like to hand it over to Will to talk about hardware at Bumblebee.
All right.
Thank you, Cameron. Hi, everyone. My name is William Kittler, and I'm on the product design team here at Bumblebee.
Yeah.
Thank you. My team owns the hardware development at every stage of its life cycle with the goal of building a sustainable, scalable product that people live with every day. At its core, Bumblebee hardware architecture is composed of discrete building blocks. A modular approach allows us to work with many different floor plans, and it allows residents to choose what they need, where they want space, and literally put it right where they want it. We like to say that we only sell one product, but we sell many different configurations. This graphic shows a complete Bumblebee suite, but residents can actually choose how many beds, storage boxes, or desks that they want. The amazing thing is that we can do this without any additional BOM complexity or additional product SKUs. The ceiling robots are the building blocks of our system. This is the atom that builds the Bumblebee molecules in every apartment and home. This design has been iterated on constantly, and the process has yielded a robot that can be manufactured quickly, installed easily, and is compatible with various payloads, from storage boxes, desks, pantries, and wardrobes. To borrow the skateboard terminology from the automotive industry, the ceiling robot is our skateboard. It's designed in such a way that the size can be modified with relatively lightweight engineering, and its payload can be swapped out for a variety of applications. A major challenge that our team is working on for the next 6 to 12 months will be tooling up many of these core components for high volume production. Here are a few examples. The low-hanging fruit is the chassis. We've taken everything we've learned from previous generations of robots and integrated most of those features into this one part, which will be produced by a single process. In doing so, our robot BOM has been reduced in size by 1/3, and all assembled parts now relate to a single major GD&T datum on this chassis. This is a major achievement for us from both manufacturing and quality perspectives. Because our use case is so well defined, we have the luxury of using a very precise operating envelope where we don't need to waste material or cost on high-powered motors. The centralized drivetrain does all of the work of the system without the aid of torsion springs or counterweights. We've designed the drivetrain with two principles in mind: reliability and quiet operation. With testing running day and night in the workshop, we have confidence to offer a lifetime warranty on our drivetrain. Structural nodes transmit the load directly from the box to the rails, allowing stress to flow in a relatively straight line from the box through the webbing and up into the ceiling. By isolating these load paths and streamlining them as much as possible, we have removed both material and complexity from the rest of the robot. Electronics consolidation was another major step in our robots becoming completely modular, with identical computes and harnesses in every single robot. As Aaron mentioned, the robot board provides the intelligence of the Bumblebee that our users interact with, from load sensing to safety and delivering your bed at a moment's notice. Bring it all together, you have our Bumblebee robot. The magic of Bumblebee really exists in just one of these units, but units can be added or subtracted to provide a tailored living experience for every resident. Our industrial designers and furniture engineers collaborate with an incredible attention to detail. Bumblebee residents use the product multiple times a day, so every detail from shades to textures and sound can have a huge impact on their living experience. The bed feet, for example, are completely passively actuated and are fully self-contained in the 1-inch thick headboard panel. When deployed on the floor, the bed feet give the bed an extra 5 inches of lift to provide a comfortable height to sit, lay, or jump on. When raised into the ceiling, the feet retract to maintain the flush appearance of the system. A problem that we grapple with every day is how can we optimize for rapid assembly without sacrificing on quality? Our approach is to ensure no small elevators or narrow hallways are obstacles to our product installation. Excuse me, I just want to emphasize, to ensure small elevators and narrow hallways are never an obstacle to our product installation. All of our furniture is either flat packed or modular to reduce carbon footprint during shipping and reducing cognitive and physical stresses during installation. Yet, even though we have small chunks for shipping and install, we leverage large, calm surfaces to provide that awesome feeling of simple design. For the last 4 years, we've focused our webbing development efforts around designing a strap that is safety first to withstand everyday use. And I am so proud of what we are shipping today. I cannot share exactly what it is specifically, but we have achieved a material that for the resident is incredibly soft to the touch and looks beautiful. The molecular structure of the fabric itself provides superior chemical resistance, cut resistance, and flame resistance to aramids or other synthetic polymers. A custom engineered weave and stitch also give each strap an ultimate tensile strength of 1,600 kilograms force. With 4 webbing straps per box, that means the webbing carrying capacity is equivalent to more than 3 base model F-150 trucks. We wanted our full system to be completely agnostic to ceiling construction. Even when fully loaded, the weight of our system is within 11 to 18 pounds per square feet. When compared to a California building code, which requires that buildings are constructed to support a minimum of 40 pounds per square feet, we're actually a very lightweight system. We're able to install our system in any ceiling that is constructed with either concrete or wooden joists. Thanks. With that, I'd like to hand it off to Fisher Johnson, who will discuss our product operations. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Fisher Johnson. I'm the product operations manager here at Bumblebee Spaces. My team's chief task is crafting the supply chain and installation strategy for this amazing product. When I was first introduced to Bumblebee, I got really excited about the product's ability to transform the way the world thinks about the cost of quality living space. It's an incredible vision, but one that only comes to fruition if we're able to operationally deliver Bumblebee at a radical price discount to the cost of traditional furniture. And that's exactly what we're doing here at Bumblebee. As the hard and soft costs of traditional urban construction continue to go up and up, Bumblebee is only getting more and more efficient. And we're doing this by moving the generation of space upstream to the factory. And that's why today my team is focused on efforts to deliver Bumblebee space at 1/25th or 4% the cost of traditional construction. This is, yeah. If we're able to do this, it's going to transform absolutely the way that developers, homeowners, and residents all think about the cost of their living space. So how are we doing this? If you want to understand, you have to first get an understanding of the core elements of our system. So first we have the robotics, which are the mechanical elements of our system that transmit all of the primary loads. Next, we have the electronics, which, as Aaron and Cameron described, are the nervous system of our product, which deliver the magic to the user. We also have our beautiful furniture payloads, which are the part of the system that the customer interacts with every single day. And finally, perhaps like the most important part of our product is our installation, which is really our first customer interaction and something that sets the tone for the way that the customer interacts with the product throughout the rest of them living with the unit. So beginning with the electronics, how are we leveraging product innovations, supply chain innovations, and technology to drive down the cost to get to that goal that I spelled out earlier? One of the ways we're doing so is we recently graduated to a CAN architecture, which has enabled the consolidation of both our PCBA and compute architecture, which has created incredible efficiencies for us, as you see here. We've also had our team build up the beginning of a ground-up motor controller, as well as navigate the transition from a LiDAR to radar room sensing platform. Both of these product architecture decisions will be further compounded by the volume-based efficiencies we see as we transition to more and more overseas manufacturing and higher volume techniques. One of the areas where we're already employing some really advanced high volume techniques is in the construction of our furniture payloads.
Everything we've done operationally and product design-wise has been centered around delivering an environmentally conscious, predictable, and beautiful product here. So here you can see our mass production line, which is actively running, where we take raw material, put it through CNC, edge banding, surface finishing, without any human interaction. And really proud to announce that this line has most recently completed our first batch of mass production units. So we've also, with the furniture, rolled in a Forest Sustainability Council certified plywood substrate, which has made our product maximally eco-conscious, which is something that's really important to our market. Here you can see some photos from our most recent batch of production. And I'm really excited about what this means for the company. When I first joined in late 2019, we were still hand finishing solid wood payloads in our office in San Francisco, and this was obviously not sustainable. But throughout the course of the pandemic, we've been able to get this line operationally, which is able to produce incredible products for us while we're sleeping. On the robotics, at the core, what we're building is a low-cost BLDC drivetrain mechanism. And if done properly, this product should scale and cost similar to that of a power tool. That's why we're investing heavily in our design for manufacturing, automation, and quality documentation to ensure that this scales reliably. And now to the most important part of our product, which we consider our installation. This is the bringing together of over 40 different electromechanical subsystems into the customer unit in less than 1 day. When I first joined the company, we had engineers on the site. This was taking days, if not weeks, but I'm excited to announce that at the end of last year, we installed a compact cluster in less than 1 day.
All right!
Yeah. So this was really a massive effort across all of our teams. We designed an in-house installer app. We built installation jigs. We built a proprietary ceiling scanning method, and we had a real feedback loop between our operations team and our engineering team to ensure that this was a product-driven exercise more than just throwing people at the problem. So we're getting to the point where by the end of next year, we anticipate being able to hand off installs to any third party or even have a DIY, do-it-yourself install offering. We're really excited about that. And of course, we've been able to patent this entire process. So our installation process has been patented. All of the ceiling scanning, all of the installer app features, all of the calibration that goes into it is completely protected. And a little shout out to Rico Zorkendorfer, one of our founding designers, who was able to drive a lot of the philosophy behind this process.
Yeah.
Of course, none of this happens, right? None of this installation happens without the customer knowing exactly where in their unit they want to put our system, or understanding how something like this gets integrated. And for that, we rely on our design team and our architecture team to make sure that this is not a construction process, but something that a user can purchase today and get installed in their house tomorrow. So with that, I'll hand it off to Darren Ray, who's our lead architect, and we'll walk you through all of the ways we're doing that. Thanks.
Thanks, Fisher. Hi, everyone. I'm Darren, and like Fisher said, I lead the architecture side of our design team here at Bumblebee. Along with Molly, we'll be one of the first parts of your process to help bring Bumblebee home. We'll work to understand what matters to you and find the best fit for Bumblebee so we can design your home from the top down for a unique space. So let's talk about how we can create space for you. To kick things off, we like to jump right into 3 dimensions. Each space is unique, and 2D floor plans can fall flat when telling the whole story of a room. So we've taken a new approach. We leverage the latest in LiDAR technology that comes standard in any new iPhone or iPad. We'll send you a link to download an app, which does all the field work for you. Measuring your space and capturing all the details in just seconds, there's no need for a tape measure. Within minutes, our design team can get familiar with your space, grab any quick dimensions, note any existing conditions that we have questions about. We'll get the whole story from the ceiling down. A few days later, we'll turn all of that into a 3D model of your space, furnished with Bumblebee and other fixtures depending on how you want to use the space. We'll share these renderings so you can preview what your future home looks like and start to get excited to live differently. We believe that layering the moments of your day within the same spatial footprint can actually elevate your experience. Our natural finishes and ambient lighting feel right at home with the rest of your furniture, so you can personalize the configuration that complements your life. For projects still in development, we can work with your architects and designers to help identify opportunities to bring Bumblebee to your product. Reach out early enough and we'll get involved to share some of our best layouts. Save you some unnecessary construction costs. When you have Bumblebee in your house, you don't need some of the other features that typically are planned for. When you know that you have storage that's using the third dimension, you know you have efficient use of space, you don't need to plan quite the same way that you do in traditional architecture. So we have a 15-inch slim assembly depth, and that can be surface mounted to the structural ceiling, or it can be framed in for a much more seamless recessed detail to sit flush and look intentional right from the start. We have a growing library of construction details that we're happy to share with your contractors if you're planning additional renovations to your space. When you see the space here, we like to take advantage of all the space all of the time. So you have your entire room is given over to a home office. We can help dial in the height that these boxes come down to fit reach ranges and accessibility needs as well. Your lived experiences inform our growing product of catalog. So we want to make sure that all of the important moments of your day and all of the people in your life feel right at home in their new space. When you're ready to go, our installation team will do all the heavy lifting. All we need is a standard 120 volt electrical outlet, seen here, to run our entire suite of components. Our team arrives, we'll scan your ceiling for obstructions and lay out our patented steel rails which bolt to your ceiling structure. Each of these rails is just bolted. The bolts themselves can carry enough weight and factor of safety to support the whole system. So there's a lot of extra safety factor built in here. Things move quickly from there. The robots Will spoke of slide onto the rails and lock right into place. Seen here. Our system skirt then wraps the perimeter of all cluster sizes and provides additional recessed downlights. At the head of the bed, they can light all the rest of how you plan to use the space. There's dimming controlled for these lights in our app, and all of the components are raised. These lights still provide ambient lighting to your space. Lastly, hanging your furniture from our signature webbing is the last step to moving in. We'll help dial the configuration, make sure that any floor furniture as well lines up well. From there, you add the personality to your space with additional furnishings and get to enjoy all of your space all of the time. Each mode captures the luxury of space, so you're never compromising in any time of day. We're always discovering new ways to help interact with your space and showcase the value we can add. The benefits of having a truly intelligent space extend far beyond just individual rooms. It goes to your whole house, to accessory dwelling units, to co-living, and we're excited to continue to expand into new use cases like hotels, retail, hospitality. We just see the advantages of intelligent space continue popping up everywhere, and we can add value to all of those. So to close, I'll hand it back to Sankarshan with some final thoughts to cap off the day.
Thanks, Aaron. All right. Just to kind of reiterate, it's a pretty complex undertaking. We're going from built world, robotics, all the sensors, the magic of machine vision, really excited about what that can enable and the stuff that we can build on top. We've got so many developers, software developers, not developers, like building developers, like software developers who want to build interesting things on top of this. And we love talking with like-minded multifamily house developers or single, like if you're a home builder, you're remodeling your home, you're thinking about your space, you should reach out to Bumblebee. Like this is the way to live. This is the way this is the future, right? This is like, it's a more sustainable way to live, and it's better for the planet. So we're gonna jump right into some Q&A. Gali, I'm gonna welcome you here on Zoom. Let's go to YouTube for those of you who got the Elon's connection here.
Great to be here. Hi,
Awesome.
Sankarshan. Hi, everybody. Awesome presentation. Been really cool to see the evolution of Bumblebee. And so my first question was, can you talk a little bit about like the pace of innovation? How has the hardware evolved since the first prototype that I saw in San Francisco 3 years ago? Because it looks totally different, and I'd love to dive deeper in that.
Totally. So I think when you first came, we were like taking these, what were called as the 80-20 rails, right? Like we would take these rails, which were off-the-shelf rails, machine it in Silicon Valley machine centers, which is like a very, first you have to get like priority, and then like, it's expensive, it's Silicon Valley, like everything about machining things here is like extremely complicated. We would do that, and we'd build our own custom brackets. So it was like a very complex assembly of, what was it, like 100 plus parts for each chassis. And Will and team have kind of made this into like a laser cut, stamped press brake piece of chassis. So it's now a really seamless skateboard design in a way, like it just comes straight out, it's stiff, and all the structural members are at the nodes. So it's really designed as modular and rapidly scalable as possible. So when we want to beat the robot out of the system. We don't want it to look like too much of a lab setup with, we want it to be for mass production, right? So when you look at our system now, it goes into any home. It's built for scale. It's built with a steel backbone with cast aluminum nodes or machined. And then the drivetrain is kind of the core of this. So yeah, it's kind of the design has evolved really for two like main purposes. One is like get the bill of materials, like the number of line items to be as simple, and then like quality becomes that much easier to manage. And the second one is install becomes that much easy. So when you look at our hooks, for example, the nodes or the hooks, they kind of serve, every part serves like 6 different functions, but the structural part, which is very interesting, doesn't matter if the joist is like going this way or this way, our system is able to hook into either using these structural nodes. So really interesting innovations on just making this mechanical piece into like simplified stuff. And then I think the big innovation's also been in kind of this, because of the system has this new brain, the Yoda is able to kind of daisy chain between each other. We don't have to like predetermine like wire lengths that are like, wiring was like a big headache. And this was like a thing with, which I saw in Tesla days, running wiring harnesses through cars, through anywhere. It's like a big hassle. It's the one that it's not easy to automate. You have to do it, and doing it overhead while installing is like such a hassle. So we've minimized these wiring sections because we're able to daisy chain between the units. So that has been like this wiring innovation's like pretty incredible. Like it seems pretty not such a big deal, but it's actually a huge deal for us.
Very cool. And I love the storage modules with the picture feature in the camera that shows your stuff. And when I'm showing the Bumblebee or to like people who have never seen it before, one of their questions is like, what about my privacy? And especially as Bumblebee gets into more places in the home, how do you ensure customers' privacy while having that much data?
Totally. I mean, that data belongs to the resident. That data belongs to the user, right? And every time you pair your Bumblebee with your phone, you've set up like an encrypted connection. It's your Bumblebee, and you can go incognito on these modules if you're like, I'm storing some stuff that I don't want it to have a digital record. Like you can just like completely opt out, and then that is your data. We don't even have like backdoor access. We don't do like, okay, let's go check out like who's storing what. Like our game is not data. Our game is space, right? Like we are not trying to, because you're buying Nikes, you might also like these kinds of socks. That's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to sell you less stuff so you use this, like, our game is truly like space and sustainability. So to do that, we want to minimize the number of stuff and the human footprint. So we are not trying to monetize the data. We use it to, like, anonymized data is used to train, and a lot of our simulated data, that's what we were able to, like, because it's impossible to generate like million pictures of different types of shoes, different types of like scarves or whatever, but we're able to do that digitally in minutes, right? Like, and that's what enables us to really train these models faster. So everything about our data, like we're like privacy first. Like there's a little bit of Apple DNA from our past here.
So if I hit the website and I decided I want Bumblebee for my, like, let's say I wanted Bumblebee in a room right here and wanted to put a bed in the ceiling,
Yeah.
Can you simply like walk us through the process of like going to the website, placing an order? I don't know if you have pricing, and then how does that actually work for me getting the installation to happen?
Totally. I think the simplest way to do this, like go to our website, there's an order button, which is like this refundable deposit. And that gets you kind of in the, so Darren and Molly, like they have this process that they run through. So you get a link to a smartphone app, you download it, and you literally scan your room and let our design team take over at that point, right? Like they'll take this 3D model and they'll show you what's possible in your room, like and we are so fixed in the way we think about space that it's mind-blowing when you see what's possible. We've been kind of designing everything with floor. When you see, like, you can add so many functions into your ceiling and open up your spacious place. So the way your order process would work, you put down this deposit, you get a design session, and you quickly iterate on it. And then they also put together, like, this pricing bundles. And we're installing now, like, San Francisco, New York. These are kind of like, we're grouping the geographies first. And then the rest of we're doing all over US, Canada. And we're building out, like, certified installer program, too. So if people are interested to become a Bumblebee installer, they should reach out too. Like, we are happy to train them and get them set up as we start expanding that into various cities.
And one of the coolest things that I saw today was the Bumblebee controller. And so I'm curious if you could tell us a little bit more about how that works. And I just really am interested in that. And also with the voice commands, is that something that I need to have with Siri, or how do you see that working? And also this is just kind of a random idea, but like clapping lights or something like that. I wonder if that's a feature you've ever thought of.
Yeah. We want, so the thing about interaction is we don't want false positives, right? Like if it moves without you intending for it to move, it'll just be a bad experience. And conversational UI, I think that's like, like Cam was saying, that's the thing that gets used the most once it's working. But for that to work smoothly, we are dependent on, we stand on some of the shoulder of the giants. Like, so specifically with the conversational UI, we work with Siri, and we build on top of that. With the wall panel, we also have some like delightful sensors that we've embedded in there that kind of can enable different interaction over time. But right now, it's just glass capacitance touch panel, and that remembers the state. It's linked with your state, with your app, so you can lock out modules, and it has like all the basic functionalities of send it up, send it down, send the lights up, things, send all up, things like that. Those are kind of embedded in the wall panel, the Bumblebee control. And then we are gonna be like additional features like get me my scarf, get me my yellow scarf that I was wearing last Wednesday. That's the level of interaction, the conversational UI we're starting to like unwrap. So the voice stuff is really, really cool. I think this is kind of the promise of this home ambient computer that never got fulfilled. Like, home has this capability to become a fully functional butler, and we're in the unique position to make that happen.
Really good question from the YouTube comments. Someone asked, do you have a bigger vision for a whole house, which is kind of what you were alluding to? And is there a way, for example, that the walls could move up and down or side to side and open up new spaces?
Yes, full stack home. It's kind of my, right from early days of Bumblebee, we had this thought of like building a Mickey Mouse clubhouse. The whole home transforms and you can add functions as you need. And yeah, we're starting off with like the dividers, like, 1 degree of freedom, like everything goes up and down today. But even within this 1 degree of freedom, you can get like extreme number of use cases within the same home. So we've started installing some very special single family homes, like some very special residents living in these. And those have kind of become our first foray into a full stack home. And we're also doing like, when we work with developers and home builders who are kind of at the planning stage, and Darren has like quite a few that we're now like integrating with, they're kind of architecting the space around Bumblebee. What I mean by that is, why would you build closets, cabinets, access space, hallways, doorways? Like, you can make so much disappear when you think about it from kind of ground up. And walls are like this next thing. So 2023 launch will be adding 2 new modules, the Bumblebee kitchen module and Bumblebee room dividers. And that'll be a really exciting add-on to the product.
Can you build on the kitchen Bumblebee? Because as someone who loves to cook, and especially if you're cooking alone, organizing your ingredients, figuring out where they are, accessing them easily, that just seems really cool.
Yeah, actually, if you look at kitchen, 80% of your kitchen storage, right? If you have your pots, pans, pantry, your, like when you need a nice big colander, you need it for like, but rest of the time, like, where's my colander? Where's my knife? Where's my specific knife to cut? It's always like, where is my stuff, and where is it organized? And also like the blend between kitchen, dining, and some, like bar, all that is kind of merging. Like, kitchen's kind of like this place where everyone hangs out. People don't have like a separate bar, separate dining hall, like all this stuff, right? So we were able to provide, one is like starting off with like all the pantry, smart pantry storage, bar, wine racks, and these are all like built on the same module that Mike was showing. And then we are going to be giving like large surfaces for dining, for cutting, cooking. We're not yet moving any plumbing. We have ideas.
And one of the questions in the chat, this you reminded me in the kitchen module, but also for the desk module, someone was asking, how do you stop the swaying motion if it's coming down? Does it have to be attached to the wall?
Yeah, Rafael from our team kind of like unlocked this like really cool wall panel, which like, so we use magnets. We love magnets. And it comes down, it latches to the magnet, and all the XY motion is held by magnet. And in Z, our webbing's holding all the load. So when you send, like, the beautiful thing about magnet is it holds a lot of force in kind of this axial force, but when you try to pull it sideways and shear, it just slides out. So you can just send it up and down, and you can make it sit, stand, desk, and it's all tethered against the magnet. And it's a really cool user interaction.
Okay, my last question is, what excites you most about the vision of Bumblebee, and how do you sort of see, the way we experience and enjoy our homes changing once Bumblebee is in the home? And maybe that's even like with your initial customers, what's kind of like their biggest feedback about how their life has changed and why they like the product so much?
Totally. So the interesting thing is we observe how frequently our product gets used. We can tell the health of the product, how frequently it moved, how it's being, how often it's being used. And, I've worked on several hardware products which are like very, software built on top of hardware. The stickiness of Bumblebee is so high. One, because of everyone needs space. There's no option but to use the product. But second of all, like the user interaction is so seamless that people, like this is how people live. So it's so exciting to see like very high stickiness every day, almost every day, every module getting used in the world. And that is like super exciting. As long as people are living there, they're using it, they're like storing things in it. So we've like iterated quite a bit. Like, initially the bed did not have feet. Now it has the feet at like the 95th percentile male height. So it's accessible, it's easy, like it's, and it's like, really good mattress. We're not putting some like compromised couch with compromised, like that sits on the compromised bed. Like, like we are doing, you can have an amazing couch. You can have like a huge L couch in your room and still land your bed where you want it. You have no counterweight. You're not depending on any wall. So yeah, like I think the way people describe, I think a couple things stick out. One is they talk about how calm and like open the space is. So we don't take, we take 15-inch in the ceiling, and a lot of people are worried, will it feel like claustrophobic? When you go into the home, it just feels so calm. And we sometimes go visit our like residents. It looks like they're living in this minimalist Marie Kondo lifestyle. It's just beautiful. There's no clutter. There's nothing sticking around. And you come inside, like everything they need is like tucked away. So it's kind of like this default organizer for your home. That's like a big, like just like mentally having all your stuff not take up everything that you can see. That's a big kind of relief, like cognitive relief for people. And then, like right now, a lot of our customers are waiting they're like, hey, why is it so late? Like we are so eager to get the product. And it's hard, man. Like it's hard to ship a complex product if a 5-cent MOSFET is blocking us. And some of these electronic pieces were like so back ordered, and we had to like work on a completely, like making sure we have enough component supply, and like designing out things that were out of supply. It was like crazy. We dealt with some ridiculous supply chain backlog, dealing with, we compete with the same power electronics as Tesla and Rivian and all these guys who are buying out stores. So we need to kind of, get our stuff and get it in front of the user. So that's been kind of like most of my conversations, like who are we prioritizing? Who's getting disappointed today because like so much demand.
Great problem to have. Thanks for the questions. I love the presentation. Yeah, it was awesome.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you. And yeah, it was great. I think we love doing this. I think we'll continue doing some more live streams. The team, we're like super proud of it. Come on, guys, take a bow. Like it's like the thing we're most proud of is this awesome team of characters that want to build. This is what makes up Get Up in the Morning. So let's go, Team Bumblebee. All right, thank you guys. Bye.